Bro, like, do you see this? He's sliding in and his character is going. Like, how the f am I supposed to shoot that? What the f?
Hello everyone, Heartstuck Iron here. I've been gathering a list of complaints here and today I've had enough. Here are some of my claims. The game developers are actually 12. Tencent loves money. Everyone who likes the Ivory Vandal is a fucking furry. Every gun behaves like a shotgun and abilities are fucking weird. These claims are quite hyperbolic, so I'll go through them one by one. What I mean by the game developers are 12 is that I actually notice a lot of rookie mistakes while I'm playing their game. It's almost as if their game was made out of like band-aids and brushed and somebody was like making a game for the first time. When you're making a game, especially the game world, numbers are very important. How large something is very important, especially when it's a tactical FPS and there's damage fall off. Another major problem with the game is I've noticed that head level is not head level. Your character's eyes are actually in their mouth, meaning that when you're actually aiming head level, you're aiming at a very low portion of their face, meaning that you trying to hit headshots will feel very inconsistent. And another problem with the game world being all different sizes and being inaccurate is the numbers that they give you. When you look at like the Vandal numbers, it will say 20 meters for a headshot maximum distance, but in reality, it's only like maybe 10. Now what I mean by Tencent loves money is they just do, they love money. There are countless videos out there yapping about how Valorant is money hungry, or the only content that Riot Games chooses to make is more skin lines. They are all right. I'm probably not the first person to say this, but the Valorant team exploits the human need to feel involved, FOMO. They only allow a random set of skins to be bought on a random rotation, meaning you'll buy more shit skins waiting 3 months to buy an e-girl stick that might arrive on a random 7 PM Monday morning. Their skin pricing, in-game currency, and other sales tactics are the work of businessmen, not game developers or creators. Yes, the game is free to play. Yes, they have bills to pay, but their sales tactics are downright predatory. The largest player base of Valorant are children that play other games like Fortnite. And you can guess who is paying for those purchases. The sentence is a bit loaded, obviously with the term furry hanging off the end there. But I would like to point out that every single buy round feels like you're just sitting in front of a wall or looking at other people's skins, if not asking for them. Remind you of another game? Now what I mean by every gun behaves like a shotgun, which is obviously an exaggeration. In real life, shotguns are actually pretty accurate. Up to about 20 to 40 meters, depending on the barrel length and the loaded ammunition.
Physically remove a chunk of shit off your opponent and throw that shit on the floor.
A Vandal failing to headshot at a pretty normal range is embarrassing, when in real life, you can have a pretty cheap rifle and nail something from several times the distance. Valorant seems to use MOA in their shooting area tool, and the Vandal apparently has an MOA of 0.25. Do you know what a 0.25 MOA rifle even looks like? You want to know what 0.25 MOA actually means? Yeah, these developers are like actually 12. What I mean by abilities are weird is that yes, abilities are very fucking weird. The latest addition to the agent selection in Valorant is Waylay, a time-based character. She has 2 jet dashes essentially, a Phoenix Molly that slows down time instead of does damage, a Phoenix ult that doesn't actually protect her, but it's not an ult, and essentially a breach stun ultimate that doesn't have to be charged, and essentially has an even stronger time slowing ability and is really fucking long. But yeah, I assume at some point they will introduce agent bans because I don't see another 3-4 years of adding a character every 2 months. And it's also going to be a nightmare to balance all these characters because none of them are in a good place. In CS, Valorant's parent game, and when I say parent game, they literally took 9/10 of the game philosophy and they added gacha elements to it. Utility was important and shaped how the games are played. In Valorant, you can literally play as Chamber, buy yourself a deagle for 100 credits, headshot someone, and the bullet creams on them.
Calc stands for calculator, I'm just using slang.
Before I start giving out some opinions on how to improve the game, I just want to acknowledge that all of my claims here are a little bit extreme and nitpicky and stuff like that. It's okay, the game is not that bad. It's okay, but it has to be better. How can we fix these problems? Now, the core foundation of the game was rushed, realistically speaking. Their map sizes are a little bit too big, their mobile sizes are a little bit too big. If they just shrink them all a little bit, it'll be fine. I'm talking as if that's a one-night job. It's really not. Mistakes like this are probably really hard to fix because of the way assets are, the way maps work. You can't just shrink it all in one go, as far as I know. But I believe in them. They can do it. There's probably a lot of work, but if they want my faith, they're gonna have to do it. Another problem in Riot Games video game is that their guns are just too inaccurate. Every time I go back to CS and I play CS, my aim feels so much better. It feels so much snappier. My bullets are actually landing where they are, even though CS is only 64-10. Even though CS is an old game and there is still inaccuracy and this and that, aiming in CS feels a lot more crisp and a lot more clean. So either they should lean into Valorant is a game that takes precision, and they should make it so that the guns are more accurate and keep the random spray patterns. Or they should simply just add spray patterns, make them reliable, and it's not a work of God that I'm somehow able to get kills with a Vandal after spraying them. Another fix for this game would be to its monetization. What they could do, my personal opinion, is they could add a skins market. In my head, this is how the skin market would work. Very simple concept. They add a proper inventory system to see what you have. And they add a separate tab within the game, still in the game, where you can trade with other people. Like listing your items and being able to buy items. And you would do this with their in-game currency, so they're not losing money. So let's say, for example, I wanted to buy Prelude Vandal, fully built, all upgrades. I can buy that with VP, and that person that's not using that skin anymore would be able to get it off their hands and buy a different skin that they like. And how Riot keep people buying VP is they could add a VP tax of 20-30% to make sure that people aren't just getting a lot of VP and never buying any ever again. This way they would still get their money and they would have a better relationship with their skins. Another thing that I would like to add is that they could capitalize on agent skins or gloves or whatever they want to do. But imagine they release a Star Guardian or an Ivory Sage skin. Similar to how League works, they have skins for their characters and their abilities might look slightly different, whatnot, right? Imagine they had that. As long as it doesn't affect core gameplay and it's not extremely distracting, this has a lot of potential, and they should probably work towards that. They should also remove all of the shit tier skins from the store and make them random drops, because ain't no one actually buying Smite skins, bro. I am not buying a default Knight skin that has a little lightning bolt and it's blue. I'm not buying that. I just want to remind everybody that yes, you might have been playing for 2-3 years, this shit game, right? You might have been playing it for 2-3 years. You can buy a skin for 20 bucks and then use your already earned Radianite. New players, when they come to play Valorant, I only came to play Valorant 3 months ago. I came to Valorant, I buy a skin, it's 60 bucks. Because I don't have Radianite and it takes a shit ton of time to get Radianite. And if I want to fully upgrade a skin, It's half a battle pass. It sucks. Not to mention, this shit should be default, not extras. Another thing is, Riot Games could work on their overall content. The only content that you're actually playing for in Valorant is the battle pass grind and the ranked grind. It's not very fun. It's not very enjoyable. I know personally some friends who still want a Riot gun buddy that I played with a Riot dev buddy. I'm sorry, but ain't no way I'm gonna play on Cali servers to get a dev buddy. It's not a grind worth playing. Not to mention, I've heard some crazy things about how people got their Riot buddies. I won't delve into that. I think they should add extra content, like flex buddies. You know how they have the little flexes now? With the little snowflake and the cell phone and the little snake that does nothing but jakes you off. They should add flex buddies. In one act you get 30% headshot rate in competitive game mode. And the more you do it, the more leveled up the buddy gets. So, first act that you did it, it's bronze, it's silver, it's gold, it has tiers, similar to how they have it in League, but instead of a badge, it's a buddy. Unkillable Demon King, you went how many games without dying? You get a buddy and it ranks up. This would be an amazing flex item, but you're just not capitalizing on it. It's lazy. Imagine the calling card that you have when you load in. There's, similar to League, 3 badges for all of your unique achievements that you have done. That would be crazy. Custom calling cards for achievements would be crazy. Maybe some cosmetic stuff, a bit more different than what we have right now. Maybe you hit Ascendant, you ace with your gun, that has the special cosmetic effect on it. Maybe after the finisher it glows a little different color. That would be incredible. And hey, Riot Games, if you need me to sign a waiver to make sure that you guys have this legally, I'll sign it. I don't care. It's all yours. It's your game. Another recommendation that I actually have is imagine a monthly or actually special event, like how League has One for All, where you all play the same character. I know they might have had something like this before, you do this in custom games, but having it as like something that you can do on official servers. Or maybe it's like a custom game mode, or like a PvE environment where it's like kinda, you know, zombies or something, or you have to defend an objective, a horde of bots, or a horde of players, something different from just 5v5 bomb defusal. Just something unique and different to get people back into the game. Because let's be real, ranked grind 24/7 is not it. Nobody is actually trying to be 10s. There are some wannabes. That's some. Another thing that could be improved is character balancing and creation.
I thought they were
some things that piss me off about this game, and it is some of the abilities, some of the characters. I know, I said I'm iron, I'm gold right now. I have been gold ever since I started playing this game. What pisses me off is that I see teammates and even enemies that are playing shit characters, and what I mean by shit is they are shit, and they use characters to get above their skill lobby. For example, let's say you're like an iron player,
we have 2 near water.
You use Cypher and an Odin, you might hit silver territory. That pisses me off. It shouldn't be in a competitive setting. What they need to do is they need to balance it more. There's too many effects bundled into Cypher's ability. He binds you to a location with his trip. If you get hit by the trip, like it triggers on you, you're located, like you're visible to everybody on the map through walls. And you're tethered to the location. You also get hit with a stun and 5 damage. I think that's a bit too extreme. Cypher, I feel, is very strong and can be abused by people that are shit to be okay. So I think they need to tone it down. 2 other characters off the top of my head, ISO and Phoenix. They're 2 agents that have too many tools to help them in duels. Like for example, ISO has a shield, but some situations 1 bullet is what you like, that's all you got. If you're opping, it's a direct counter, and I understand you need ways to counter the op and this that, but let me be clear, okay? It should reduce damage. It shouldn't make it completely ignored. If you get hit by an op in the body, okay, it only does 150 damage, it'll ignore it. If you take a headshot, I'm sorry, but you should be dead. You should be dead. Another one, Phoenix. He has a pop flash. He has 2 pop flashes that are perfect. I've seen Diamond, Ascendant, Immortal players in my server, in my community, get hit by these flashes like crazy. There's like almost no counter to this other than really stupid uses of flash, I guess, and maybe luck. but I think it's just dirty. It's just clearly dirty. Like, I understand some people need help, but that's too much help. I think they should make the flashes pop a little bit later, quarter of a second. Another thing is he has 2 heals. I'm sorry, but he can just throw his molly on the floor, the fucking Phoenix wall, the firewall. He steps in it, he heals 40 health from each. He's topped up to 80. Okay, he had 20 before, he's full health again. Give him a regen shield, he's 125. It's bullshit. Let's be real, it's bullshit. It lets him tank an extra bullet or 2. It's fine. Give him a temporary heal like so many other characters. Like Chloe, for example. Takes pops with the finger, 100 health, goes after 5 seconds. Similar to that, I think it should be like that. Because then you punish them by going, I'm not gonna fight you now, I'm gonna fight you later. That's fine by me. Just give him 100 health for 5 seconds, it goes away, it decays. Another thing I want to mention is he has an ult. If he knows he's going to die in a certain spot, it brings him back. Which means he has no risk going into sight, and he pays no penalty for dying. Because he just comes back to life. I think it's a little bit too much, because you know when you're fighting a Phoenix that has pop ult, you see he glows a different glow. You know that he comes out of this with no consequences. You have to go into their backline to fight him then. So there are genuinely abilities that are not good for competitive play. There are stupid abilities. This does not fit a competitive environment. If they want to be a funny arcade shooter, remove the pro scene. I don't want to see that, ever. Your target demographic is tactical FPS, don't be a funny arcade shooter. You don't want to add gacha and weird abilities to a serious environment. It takes all the joy out of it. Just ground your characters, make them make sense. There are some other painful problems here as well that I want to address. For example, their servers are catered towards people who have extremely low ping. People over 30 ping complain that things that are happening on the client side are not happening on the server side. For example, a headshot that hasn't gone through any obstacle does reduce damage. I've seen this personally myself. I live pretty far from most servers. It bothers me quite a bit. And there are some headshots that just don't happen at all. I talked to so many people about this. People see headshot splatters, blood coming like off the face above. Visual indication that you've gotten a headshot, died to the same player, no damage taken. I think that's a little bullshit. I think this is something that needs work. Another visual bug in the game is if somebody is coming in or out of a smoke, for a split second you notice that they kind of look like a bot and then they just snap back to being human. It's so weird. Now these are all things that kind of ruin the experience of the game. For me, I'd say it ruins the experience of all casual players, especially because casual players are probably on Wi-Fi, or maybe they're out somewhere and they're on, hotel Wi-Fi, sub-perfect connections. They're not their connection is subpar. It's not great. It's shit. You can't just cater to people that are sitting right next to their router with like a tiny ass cable plugged into their computer, and their router is right down the street from their ISP. This doesn't work. This is not good. I just want to remind Riot Games that the people that are paying for your game to keep running, like 90, 95, 99% of those people are casual players. Maybe the top 5, 10% are above low-elo. You should be catering to those people. Not to mention, please, do not switch to Unreal Engine 5. You will brick your game. It's shit. Now, here are some things that I want to talk about releasing new characters. I think, this is my personal opinion, before you make a character, you release a poll. You say Twitter, in-game survey, whatever. You go, hey, we're thinking of adding a character, for example, Wayland. Slows down time, it's a different stun. It does this, and this. Do you think it is too strong, balanced, too weak, or you don't know? It would literally save you so much time if everybody was able to give you an answer. You would see across the entire player base, no one want that, or oh, it's too weak, let's crank it up a notch, let's give it a little bit more oomph. Now another thing that I want Riot Games to do, this is turning into like a hostage list. I will release one if you do this. Anyway, one thing that I want y'all to do is I want you to make the early testing environment, or you guys call it PBE. I want you to keep it open to everybody all the time whenever you're releasing something. All the time. Don't just shut it off. I want you to make it so that everybody can only play 4 games, so you're not spending so much time on ETE that you're actually affecting the main game. Only 4 games every 2 weeks. with a mandatory survey afterwards, and if they don't participate in it, they are no longer qualified to participate in the PBE or early testing servers. Now, all characters should also be released on these PBE or ETE servers as soon as they are playable. Just give them a really basic design. They don't need to look perfect. It's an early testing environment. No one cares. You're gonna release it at some point. You're gonna pour in your millions into your 2 graphic designers that make their hair a certain way. No one cares. Release them as fast as possible on PBE so we can test the abilities and say, hey, this is too strong, this is too weak, this is just right, you know? Just do it like that. And another thing would be ready to completely delete a character or completely rework them. Because let's be real, right? It's not, your ideas are not always perfect. Companies rise and fall based off of how other people, their customers, perceive them. So if your character, nobody likes it, it's too strong or it's too weak, get rid of it or make it different entirely. Anyway, if anybody else has anything to contribute or say to me or yell at me, I will be in my community Discord, link in the description, hosting tournaments and other fun events, since Riot Games doesn't want to make anything fun for us anyway. So as long as you are respectful, I am always open to constructive criticism. Come and join me while I yell at my duelist for the 20 millionth time. And I'll see y'all sometime.